Welcome to the versus Surge vs. Derpy. Surge, the Tenric, seemingly to be made an artificial person, but is technically a cyborg, enhanced with electric abilities and has top on that to the speed of sound, with her partner, Kitsuname, a, a person that can control water. Now, Surge has a lot of durability. She's been crushed by a city, essentially. She's taken several hits from Sonic, several hits from Dr. Eggman's robots, and on top of all that, survived an explosion from a device that honestly she lucky to survive from, as this device increases her power, technically by absorbing the wisps. But it overloaded and shocked her with a very large amount of electricity that is well over the amount to power a city. Stronger than any normal lightning bolt. And her competitor, Derpy, who has been able to tank a lightning bolt, has several durability. Now, in terms of speed, Surge does have more, but with her luck may change the tide of this battle. And plus the cons, she is fast, but can she beat the speed of sound? And it's really going to come down to who is more durable. Let's get into this made-up fight. We see a whole factory area district, as Derpy is simply just flying around, enjoying her muffin, is when Surge simply jumps in the air, grabs the muffin, and lands on one of the building's top edges. Like stealing candy from a baby. Except a muffin from a Pegasus, as she then eats it, as Derpy's eyes shrink as she looks at that. You ate my muffin! As she rushes at Surge, as she simply just jumps off as she dents the pipe of the factory, as she tries to follow with her wings, as Surge is running. As Surge is running using the streets, as Derpy's following behind, with her eyes gazed on Surge, as Surge turns the corner, as Derpy turns, as she doesn't see Surge, as Surge just drops down and hits Derpy into the ground, as Derpy gets up and hits Surge, sending her back a bit, as she starts to run around, sends an electric shock towards Derpy, which doesn't do anything, as Derpy comes in, and while she's confused of why the electricity didn't work, hits Surge in the face, sending her through a wall. As she gets back up, as Derpy rushes towards, Surge with a bat, as she simply ducks and then kicks Derpy in the chest. As Derpy quickly flies over towards Surge, as she quickly runs, as she tries to send a bunch of electricity towards Derpy, but doesn't have no effect. I don't have enough power to injure her. As she focuses all her power into attack, which actually managed to send Derpy back a bit into a wall, as then she would come over and do a roundhouse kick towards Derpy. Now, sending her lean down into a, old factory, smelting facility, as Surge walks over, as suddenly a beam holding up a giant metal crate falls, seemingly squishing Surge. As the next moment, Surge lifts up with a glow of blue of lightning seemingly in her eyes, as she lifts the container and tosses towards Derpy. As she just simply punches it away, as she has been in, muffin fury the entire time ever since Surge ate the muffin. As she rushes towards Surge, as she simply moves out of the way as she hits another metal crate, as Surge simply goes over and kicks, as she gets sent towards another metal box. As then Derpy is just there, as Surge sends a large amount of electricity towards Derpy, sending her into the ground. As she lies there, as Surge the Tenric starts to move forward, as then a large metal crate would fall and hit her head. As she's a bit dizzy, as Derpy gets up and punches her in the face several times, as Surge just scatters all the electricity in her body and just touches Derpy as basically like a seemingly large lightning would hit. And she would headbutt Derpy. As Derpy just faints on the spot. As Surge seemingly just walks out of there all dizzy and clouded. Ugh. And the winner is Surge. Now, during this fight, bear in mind, Surge did not have her equipment. So, the whole difference is if Surge had pulled out her equipment that would have increased her strength, Derpy would not have been able to handle the amount of electricity she would be able to power up. Especially even after she uses the equipment, her power gets a significant increase after using such a thing. But if Derpy were able to fight Surge while using the equipment and would have lasted until she overloaded, Surge would not have been able to continue. But Surge didn't even pull out her equipment. Now Surge absolutely dominated in speed. Derpy could not keep up and got hit several times due to Surge outspeeding her. Now, Derpy's luck did come in clutch in dropping several items to try to weaken Surge. But unfortunately, Surge's durability, even after getting hit on the head with metal, she was still able to stay conscious. As she had basically tanked more stuff and has been more durable than Derpy. Now, when it comes to intelligence, unfortunately, Surge was more smart, leading Derpy into a secluded area where her mobility in the air was limited, keeping her on the ground at pretty much all times, making this a real fight, one-sided when it came to ground combat. In terms of skill, in fights, Surge does also win this category, as she has fought with Sonic the Hedgehog and has fought several other people. She has fought Metal Sonic and defeated Metal Sonic. And if she was using her equipment, this fight would have been over a lot sooner. But Surge did not use her equipment and decided to face Derpy nearly head on. But between intelligence, Surge seemingly had the upper hand and knew what she could do to win a fight. Derpy, who has not really any fighting experience, still able to at least do some damage. Even with her clumsiness and all that would give her an advantage. Could not keep up with Surge and her durability and her tactics of knowing how to fight. So our winner is Surge.